Today I'm here to present to you an amazing supplement known as sodium butyrate. Now, this particular molecule has received a lot of attention in the health and wellness space for its ability to improve overall gut health. So let's look at sodium butyrate. Sodium butyrate is a salt from butyric acid, which is a short-chain fatty acid. Now, it's produced naturally in the human gut through the fermentation of dietary fibers by gut bacteria. Now, sodium butyrate plays a crucial role in maintaining the health and functioning of the intestinal tract. It serves as an energy source for the cells lining the colon, supports the health and integrity of the intestinal barrier, and has anti-inflammatory protective effects on the gut lining. Additionally, sodium butyrate has been shown to influence gene expression through its action as a histone deacetylase inhibitor, impacting various biological processes including immune regulation, cell differentiation, and anti-inflammatory responses. So just bear in mind, if you do want to purchase sodium butyrate in supplemental form, you will see that linked down below in the video description. This is a very high quality sodium butyrate product that I highly recommend. Now, as I mentioned, sodium butyrate is a type of short-chain fatty acid that is produced when microbes in the gut break down carbohydrates that our bodies can't digest on their own. It plays many important roles in keeping us healthy by influencing different biological processes. Now, sodium butyrate mainly works by blocking an enzyme known as histone deacetylase, or HDAC, which is involved in controlling which genes are turned on and turned off in our cells. Now, by stopping this enzyme, sodium butyrate helps to turn on genes that reduce inflammation and regulate metabolism. Now, this effect is particularly useful in controlling swelling in fatty tissues and improving how the body responds to insulin, which are crucial for managing conditions related to metabolism like diabetes. Now, interestingly, sodium butyrate also plays a role in supporting the microbiome by promoting the growth and development of beneficial bacteria. Now, the enhancement in the gut microbiome contributes to better overall gut health and strengthens the immune system. So we can see a double win benefit associated with sodium butyrate. If you take sodium butyrate, you're very likely to receive benefits in terms of improving overall gut health, such as improvements in stool quality and potentially even an enhanced immune response, meaning that you're less likely to get sick and suffer from colds and flus as often. It also helps to strengthen the barrier of the intestines. Now, you've heard of leaky gut or intestinal hyperpermeability. You've probably wondered in the past whether or not you actually have a leaky gut. Well, it turns out that sodium butyrate does appear to have an effect on sealing the tight junctions and preventing something known as leaky gut. And so this is important because it regulates conditions such as inflammatory bowel disease, and it also has a protective effect on autoimmune conditions, which is really critical to understand. Now, we've also seen some new research how sodium butyrate may actually help with brain conditions, potentially helping with acting as a neuroprotective agent. And so this is really important because it has some reduces inflammation in the brain. Now, like I said before, sodium butyrate does influence the gut-brain axis, indicating its potential benefits for brain health. For example, studies on ulcerative colitis models have demonstrated that sodium butyrate can protect against inflammation and oxidative stress in the brain. Now, this connection underscores the direct relationship between the health of the gut and brain functions. Now, just a quick fact, when I studied at university, I studied naturopathy. I'm a fully qualified naturopath. We learnt about the importance of the gut, and every single lecturer in every single class used to say, always look at an individual's level of gut health and how they're digesting their food and how what their poops are looking like, if they're healthy looking stools. And this is one of the reasons why I was so interested in sodium butyrate, because if you look on PubMed and you have a search on PubMed, type in butyrate and health, and you'll come across hundreds, if not thousands, of clinical trials looking at the beneficial effects of butyrate on improving gut health. This is a legitimate supplement that has years of research behind it. And if we have a look at this first human study, this study here was titled Microbiota Changes Induced by Microencapsulated Sodium Butyrate in Patients with Inflammatory Bowel Disease. Now, sodium butyrate has been studied for its beneficial effects on gut health, particularly for its anti-inflammatory properties and potential to aid in the regeneration of colonic tissues. So that's the first study. The next study was titled Sodium Butyrate and Short-Chain Fatty Acids in Prevention of Traveler's Diarrhea, a randomized prospective study. So traveler's diarrhea is a common issue for those visiting subtropical countries, often managed through dietary precautions, vaccines, and antibiotics. Now, usually what I prescribe when clients are going overseas or they're worried about getting traveler's diarrhea, what I actually usually recommend is sodium butyrate combined with Saccharomyces boulardii, which is another probiotic, activated charcoal, and some other binders like chlorella. Between those four, it should do a very good job at removing these toxins from the body. If we look at further studies here, this one was looking at the changes in traveler's diarrhea. This next study here was titled Therapeutic Effect of Butyrate on Pediatric Obesity, a randomized clinical trial. So oral butyrate supplementation could be a beneficial addition to standard treatment for managing pediatric obesity. This next study here was titled Effects of Oral Butyrate and Inulin Supplementation on Inflammation-Induced Pyroptosis Pathway in Type 2 Diabetes, a randomized double-blind placebo-controlled trial. So they're looking at changes in gene expression, and it appears that this sodium butyrate does have a protective effect. This next study here was titled Effect of Butyrate and Inulin Supplementation on Glycemic Status, Lipid Profile, and Glucagon-like Peptide or GLP-1 level in patients with type 2 diabetes, a randomized double-blind placebo-controlled trial. So they're noticing improvements in the group that received the sodium butyrate had significantly reduced diastolic blood pressure compared to placebo group. And they also noted that sodium butyrate supplementation led to reductions in fasting blood sugar and waist to hip ratio. So waist circumference significantly decreased in both groups after the intervention. So this is pretty awesome research behind how sodium butyrate may assist with your fat loss goals as well. This next study here was titled Effects of Butyrate Supplementation on Glycemic Control, Lipid Profile, Blood Pressure, Nitric Oxide Level, and Glutathione Peroxidase Activity in Type 2 Diabetic patients, a randomized triple-blind placebo-controlled trial. So basically in this study here, sodium butyrate treatment significantly reduced systolic and diastolic blood pressure and also B2SHPP within the treatment group. Now, this B2SHPP was reflective in the treatment group and not in the actually placebo group. Now, there was no significant differences in some of the other parameters, but it does appear that sodium butyrate has potential effect there. If we look further on, there's more and more research indicating sodium butyrate's anti-inflammatory properties. So definitely look into sodium butyrate and its benefits, particularly around inflammation. Even from an epigenetic standpoint, sodium butyrate does play a significant role in epigenetics. As I said before, as a histone deacetylase inhibitor, sodium butyrate influences gene expression by modifying the structure of chromatin, the complex of DNA and proteins that forms chromosomes within the nucleus of cells. So this histone modification is really important when it comes to turning on and off genes. Here we can see how sodium butyrate enhances the immune system. We've seen lots of evidence to suggest that. And this next study here was titled Neuroprotective Effect of Sodium Butyrate Against Cerebral Ischemia Reperfusion Injury in Mice, so demonstrating neuroprotective effects. This next study here was titled Sodium Butyrate Exerts Neuroprotective Effects in Spinal Cord Injury. So in summary, if we have a look at the overall benefits of sodium butyrate, we can see from immune health, gut health, brain health, it does appear to, possess some very favorable effects. And in terms of the future of sodium butyrate research and applications, I think most of the research will be centered around autoimmune conditions. And now you're probably wondering, what about dosages? Like, how much sodium butyrate do I recommend? Well, clinical studies have used anywhere from 500 milligrams all the way up to 2,000 milligrams. And this is based upon lots of literature around different dosages in different population states. So the capsules that are linked down below are actually sodium butyrate capsules. You can get different types, either calcium butyrate or sodium butyrate. And per capsule, we're looking at 600 milligrams. So that's of butyric acid per capsule. Two capsules per serve is going to yield 1.2 grams of butyric acid. So that pretty much wraps up today's video on sodium butyrate, the incredible molecule that has some favorable effects on human biology. Thank you for tuning in. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.